This is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Okay, so we got Ja Rule thinking he's a tough guy again, okay? These guys were tough because they had Preem behind them, and then once they got popular, they had more street people behind them. Okay? That's what it is. And you can tell me all you want, but Ja Rule isn't tough like that. Is he strong? Yeah. Can he fight? I'm sure. But he's acting like, we had you shot and all this other. He used to talk like crazy. He used to go up there. He went up there with a bunch of guys and tried to poke 50 Cent up, and they got poked up. 50 got poked too, but I'm just saying, like, they tried to. It's undeniable. Irv Gotti tried to take him out, okay? And Irv Gotti tried to block him out the industry, right? So, of course, 50 Cent was going to let this, he was going to fight this to the end. Even when Irv Gotti passed, he still put up a disrespectful post. And Ja Rule's response to that was...
So, of course, nobody likes all this goofy shit, but it's goofy shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm not, Preem said it best. I spoke to Preem the other day. He's, Preem has always got the right words, shit in the right word, things to say. Because I was hot. You know what I'm saying? I was hot. I was ready to go nuclear.
What were you going to go nuclear and do, though? Let's be real. What was Ja Rule going to do when he went nuclear, right? Over Irv Gotti, a guy who sold... Now, I know that's his friend. Don't get me wrong. But Irv Gotti did sell his masters and made $300 million, okay? Or what was it, 100 and something $100 million? He made a lot of money, okay? I don't know if Ja Rule got any of that. I know Ja Rule still gets his publishing and everything, but Ja Rule doesn't own his masters. So I know that bothered him a little bit. But anyways, he continues to say that Preem gave him advice.
But, I say, so I spoke to Preem anyway. And Preem said, he said, Rule, he said, here's what you got to understand about who we are and what we are. He said, we are masters of self-defense. I said, I love that.
You're masters of self-defense. Okay. Hey, Ja Rule and them, they went too far with the 50 Cent thing, and that's what happened. Okay? Let's not act like they're these super tough guys in the street, that people were scared of Irv Gotti and Ja Rule. It's not the case. It's usually it's the people around them. Preem and them had people, falling in line. Irv was a DJ. He was never in the streets, and Ja Rule was never in the streets. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You guys were musicians, but they were trying to cosplay as something else with having people around them and everything. And, it is what it is. But, of course, 50 Cent's going to react to that. Can't stop. 50 Cent and Big Meech, 42 Dugg. So this all ties into recently 42 Dugg was complaining about 1090 Jake's video, talking about, and it's the facts. Big Meech, right? Big Meech knew about Tammy Cowens, calls out people like Blue Da Vinci, but not Tammy Cowens, the person who you knew was cooperating. There's sworn statements on the stand of her cooperating and telling stories about you connecting Cuffy and Suarez to do deals from jail, and then contacting Tammy to coordinate it. Come on, man. You got to read between the lines with the Meech thing. He didn't get on the stand or write a statement, but he cooperated between the lines. Almost the way Whack 100's doing now, where he's just going on Clubhouse and saying things, and the police listen and act. Okay? It's the truth. It's just a different way of cooperating. It's not cooperating per se directly with the feds, right? So you can't call him a snitch per se, but you could say, hey, what you're doing doesn't follow street code. And you're going to say, what does Jordan know about street code? I know a little bit more than you think. I wasn't in the streets, right? But I understand. Okay, I dealt with a lot. Worked with a lot of people from there, and then in the beginning of my career, I know it isn't so much now. But when I was doing business at the beginning, people like Cormega and everything helped me to almost street code. It was crazy. So Cormega is the one who gave me a crash course on street code. Okay, for years. Okay, that's still my friend to this day. Okay, and if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have gone as far in music videos because I wouldn't have understood how to move with doing business with people in the street that are trying to do music. I would have handled it wrongly. Probably would have gotten beat up and my camera equipment stolen. He taught me how to move properly. I'm not trying to tell you I just understand it. That's it. Okay. So 42 Dugg argued for some reason like Big Meech is his daddy, and it's weird, like he's trying to defend something that you can't defend just because you're from Detroit. You're going to defend it? Like, come on, bro. Like, stop. Big Meech did what he did with Tammy. Tammy, he gave her the life rights for some reason, and she had him, and she did the deal with 50 Cent with Big Meech's blessing. And for some reason, when Big Meech got out, he felt like he could go against 50 Cent and team up with like Rick Ross, and Mayweather came in after the fact, but he felt like empowered. Someone empowered Big Meech to make that move. It's very weird. And in turn, they blew up a nice franchise. The BMF franchise was set to be probably have a lot of spinoffs and everything, just like Power. It wasn't as successful as Power, but it was successful. Didn't outdo Power. Power had a lot of spinoffs. I don't think the Tommy one was successful, but we know that Kanan is, and we know that the Power Book 2 was successful. I don't know, man. Big Meech just came home and was lame. That's basically what happened. We all thought that Big Meech would come home and, do this and that, and none of that happened. It was really the exact opposite. He was just a lame guy. He never speaks. He's taking goofy pictures, dressing like a goofball most of the time. But, that doesn't take anything away from what he did before. He did do great things. Now, there was some people sharing messages. I think these are a little old, but it says, yo, Rocket, this is Cuff. This is my text message number. Tell 50 he's a bad man. Okay, we already read that a long time ago. Then he mentioned JBO, though. Tell 50 to call in now. Then he said something about JBO in the next one. Let me see. Hold on a sec. In the next one, it says, they tube streets. Oh, the YouTube streets. Somebody tell this guy, JBO BMF, that YouTube streets are looking for him. He had a lot to say about Blue Da Vinci, but he's been suspiciously quiet since these Meech versus Cuffy stuff came out. What's really good, JBO? Is you cool or nah? Cuffy put you hip to game over 10 years ago, and yet you ain't did or say nothing about it. Boy, you're the worst type of guy there is. I like JBO too. He seems like the most solid one that came home. He's got more trouble, unfortunately, and he's back in jail. But yeah, he seemed like the more solid and well thought out one. There's spooky stuff, little spooky stuff with Blue Da Vinci, but nothing crazy. Like how much did he really know? But there's some spooky stuff with the limos and everything, but whatever, that's more. Bro, I'm sure there's spooky stuff with all these guys when you look into their paperwork. I'm going to be honest with you. And not even their paperwork. Stuff that wasn't done on paperwork, You think the feds have to write everything down and everything? Sometimes somebody could get tipped off and do their own homework. Remember that, okay? Not everything is done on paper. Anyways, this is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe, and I'll check you guys in the next one. Peace.